Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. Joining me on the program right now is the Moose himself, Bronk in England, and I've put a link right up in the in the chat. If you want to join the panel, that's where you click. Now, here's the deal: if you click on that,
you get a Ginsu knife.
Plus, if you order right now, no.
There's more. There's more.
Yeah. But what will happen is if you just want to do it as a regular phone call without video, you can do that. But I am going to insist that I want to see the person who is, and I will ask a question. That person can make a gesture. That way we don't get things thrown at us here in the show that are
not that ever happens.
No, well, I mean, but the thing is that YouTube, the reason people do it is to get
security here,
to get in trouble with YouTube, and they figure, like the 21-year-old kid, we crank called Shadur, $250,000 to the Falcons and $100,000 to his father later. That little prick. I would certainly hope that his father says to him, the first $100,000 that you earn in your life, you're paying back.
Wow. Yeah.
That guy could lose his job over that shit,
True.
Yeah, True. It's just the whole
Well,
thing.
if he was a shit person for the Falcons, then he would have lost his job. If he's somebody that the Falcons want to keep, then he keeps the job.
Right.
That's how that shit works. And it's Tony the Calf, our resident Minnesota expert.
Hey, well, you're a happy guy. No,
I'm happy for you.
Knocked off LeBron and Luca the Hamburglar.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that in just a minute.
That wasn't that hard to do, though, was it?
Not really. I mean, it was just more national hype.
I'll take them when we can get them.
No.
I'm not. There's no rap again. Believe me.
I love the Timberwolves, man. They are awesome.
Yeah, we got 27 and 20 out of Rudy fucking Gobert. No, that's
Well, that's because he got slagged off on the show. That is the Moohead effect. When you come on the show and you slag a player off, they end up going off on the very next day.
That was his career game. But, hey, give credit to the Timberwolves because everyone gave credit to the Lakers for no good reason. And you might as well give the credit to the team that deserves it, who gave you the reasons. This little tidbit comes across. Nick Chubb will likely have to find a new home now that Browns running back Jerome Ford has accepted a pay cut.
Oh, well, make it stop.
Now, isn't that just fucking great?
Didn't they draft a running back or two?
Oh, yeah, but that's not the point. The point is...
that is not the point, yeah.
I mean, this is what gives Jewish people a bad name. I mean, it's like... They don't have the fucking balls to say, we don't think that Nick Chubb is ever going to be the same running back that he was, and we just can't use him.
We can't do it, yeah.
Instead, I mean, this is incredible. This is from Mary Kay Cabbagehead, the vegetable herself, all right?
Wow.
Now she says Chubb's return to the Browns was largely dependent on whether or not Ford accepted the pay cut. Why am I watching The Godfather all of a sudden?
You have an offer you cannot refuse. They stuck a horse's head in Jerome Ford's bed to make him resign.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck does this mean? Well, he found the horse's head in his bed on Friday, reducing his salary from $3.486 million to a guaranteed 1.75.
Oh, that's like chump change. I mean, Ty Jerome earns more than that.
It's going to make him really want to go out there and give us 100%, isn't it? Yeah, go ahead and get a head injury.
Brain damage. Yeah, get brain damage for $1 million next year.
Yeah, a discount price. I mean, why can't they just have the fucking balls to have a special honorary tribute to Nick Chubb or do whatever to have some kind of class about them? But it's asking way too much. And I'll tell you, it's getting more and more difficult to have anything to do with this organization.
Oh, I wasn't even aware of this. I mean, that's just amazing.
It's heartbreaking. And it's the kind of thing that they're basically saying, you know, we don't want either of the two of them really. And that's why we got these running backs. And then the running backs will get injured. You know, they'll all
during
end up
preseason
with soft tissue injuries, and they'll be
yep.
shut down for half the season. I mean, this is the same thing every goddamn year. Yeah. So that's the first thing I want to say. The next thing is LeBron James suffering the MCL sprain in Game 5. Wouldn't have mattered in the end had they been able to extend this thing, because after spraining his MCL, LeBron couldn't extend his penis, for God's sakes.
Mark.
He's not such a big man now, is he?
My penis can't fluff anymore.
Yeah. But man, that's a grade 2 MCL sprain, which is, you know, that's easily 6 to 8 weeks, and it wouldn't have mattered. Everything was over for the Lakers anyway. All right. So that is that. But I do want to add something about the Lakers, and I don't believe in kicking people when they're down, because this is quite consistent with what I've said all along, is that players in the league are either serious or they're not serious. If they're not serious, they're like Robert Tractor Trailer. Okay? No, I'm just being honest about this.
Go for it, yeah.
If you want to be fat, you can't be an NBA player. All right. Correct. I can sit there and say, well, I can stand there and shoot threes, but you know, if I had to run up and down the court twice, they'd have me in an iron lung.
Yeah, you'd be dead. Yeah.
And you know, an unbelievable kind of thing. And the other thing, yeah, and I see that Rich is. I'll put him up here. Yeah, he didn't kind of say that. He did say that. Yes. Basically, what he said was the reason they lost was conditioning.
Wow.
It's like, well, it couldn't be LeBron. He's 40 years old and put in all kinds of minutes this year. It couldn't have been him. Let me see now. And yeah, he's saying it was conditioning. Well, it's a combination of things. It's conditioning in the fact that Luka is not serious and he's a fucking doughboy. All right. And he's prone to injuries and he's never going to change his ways. And the whole idea was that JJ Redick said that, well, the offseason, we have to commit ourselves to conditioning, and we'll see, because what this guy gains weight. You know, I have over here in a box, I should show you, but I don't want to move the camera. I have a deflated basketball that I'm going to inflate, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to start shooting baskets again, because it's something I felt like doing, you know?
Yeah.
But I actually saw a video on YouTube from a 79-year-old guy, and he used to be able to dunk the ball when he was, you know, the last time he dunked, he said, was like in his late 30s.
Wow.
And he decided at 79, I wonder if I could still do it if I really worked at it, you know? But the problem was they had to help him out of the wheelchair. No, the problem, of course, is, you know, what it's really about for him is to maximize his mobility and to build up his leg strength and all of that. And I thought the same thing. It's like, you know, I had something happen a couple of years ago when I was walking through my neighborhood in Florida, and the video that I did probably 15 years ago or more, I don't know, here on Moohead Radio, was a video of me shooting threes and shooting free
throws. I remember that. Tony Park.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. That was the run spinner. Dave claimed he could kick in
balls from the half court.
Half court.
Oi. So, you know, I was walking around the neighborhood. There were some kids in their driveway shooting ball at a hoop.
Oh, no, you didn't walk up to them, did you?
I did. I said, hey, throw me one.
Hey, Sonny.
I put up my shot, airballed it.
Yeah,
I didn't get it to the fucking rim.
Womp womp womp.
Exactly.
Try to big time a bunch of kids.
Man.
Hung my head in shame. Walked away the fat guy, the humiliated fat guy. And I said to myself, boy, that'll tell you something.
Well, that's the best thing that could have happened to you. Now you're motivated and you're going to go out and do stuff and you're going to be a new fucking man, isn't it?
Well, I've been riding my trike a lot of mileage. I'm getting my trike tomorrow to bring up here to Ohio, the new one I got up here. And my legs are stronger. And at the time I did that, my legs were really weak because the knee replacement, and I stopped playing tennis, and I wasn't doing anything to really get my legs in shape. I'm never going to be able to leap and do stuff like that, but God damn it, I got to be able to get the ball up to the rim. I mean, so at any rate, conditioning is important. JJ Redick's right about that. But what JJ Redick's not saying, in the offseason, the Lakers should look for a new head coach because
he's terrible.
He was a dolt.
Shocking.
I mean, my God, he played all those old guys, the guys he's complaining about who weren't conditioned. He decided he was going to play them the entire half of the last game. I mean, you've got to be joking.
He's an idiot.
That's the kind of thing that makes me shake my big cow head. The other thing I wanted to mention, Greg Popovich is done coaching. The strokes have taken their toll. He's going to jump into the front office, and Mitch Johnson will be taking over. I know that's got to hurt Popovich because Pops probably wanted to work more with Wembanyama, but that's not going to happen. And I was really kind of sad to hear that because he's been one hell of a coach in the NBA. Another quick headline. The NCAA has disciplined 5 Iowa State staffers for sports gambling, a subject near and dear to your heart, Tony.
Yeah.
Yep. The NCAA taking disciplinary action. These staff members, they were Iowa State football's, could have been Ohio State. Iowa State football support staff members made more than 6,200 online bets, totaling more than 100. Yep. Totaling more than
6,200.
Totaling more than 100,000 on professional and college games, including men's and women's basketball, including the Iowa State Cyclones.
Okay, over how long a period? Like, was it a year or how many? Let's divide that into bets per day.
The 5 were identified during a state investigation from 2021 to 2023. They didn't say over. That's just what the investigation was.
5 guys, like 60-some thousand bets. That's like 100 a day or something.
No, 6,200.
6,200. Okay, so that's more like 30 a day or something.
Yeah, but whatever the hell it is, I'm not even going to say their names, although they acknowledge they knowingly violated the NCAA sports wagering bylaws, and they're all subject to a 1-year show cause order. Which the whole thing's just bullshit.
Is that Dean Wormer's double secret probation?
That's exactly right. What this is, it's the slap on the wrist. It's like, we're going to warn you this way, but anybody else who does it,
one more move.
And God damn it, if it happens to a black college, you're all going away.
So they're going to do a toga party next week.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but
I mean, gambling has just infiltrated every single part of the game. Yeah. And Iowa State doesn't even have a competitive football team. Give me a fucking break. What are they gambling on? Shut up and do their fucking jobs.
They should gamble on the next tornado to hit them,
Oh, really? Who is the guy? Who was the Mount Union grad who is coaching the Cyclones out there in Iowa? Yeah.
Tumbleweeds.
Yeah, nothing. Then there's this. Hold on. The Pirates fan who fell 21 feet to the field is still in critical condition.
Was he picking his nose at the time, or what
happened?
Well,
the rumor was the eyewitness account says he was drunker than a fucking skunk, and yeah.
Well, there you go.
Stood up and was showboating and leaned a little too far. And good night, Irene.
God, 21-foot high wall, and he fell right on the warning track, which is an interesting name.
Hard.
That's why they call it a warning track.
Yeah, don't fall on me.
Yeah, if you're heading vertically down toward it, warning, Will Robinson, warning. It's like
danger.
Professor Smith. I don't know why we're laughing about this. The man, Kavan Markwood.
Great name.
Yeah.
That's great name.
Yeah. He's a former student, standout athlete.
Not anymore. He won't have a spine. So
Andrew McCutcheon was out there when it happened. We're just hoping for the best for him. I hope he pulls through because he's the reason why we are here. He's the reason why we play the game. People that show their support so we can do something we love, partly because of him and partly and because of fans. So I just pray that he's all right. That's got to shake up a player, you know.
He could have fallen on top of somebody in the bullpen or something. Well, imagine if it was like one of those stands where you're right over the bullpen. He lands on top of some catcher or something.
So this was in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
How would Myron Cope call the guy?
Oh my God! He fell from the... No, it's just a damn good thing he didn't fall on McCutcheon. Because if that would have happened, that would have been the end of everything. Better the fan dies than McCutcheon.
Yeah, that would be the Myron Cope stupidity that would ensue.
What if he did it in Tampa Bay and Dwayne Stat was there?
Dwayne Stat?
You know, you're not going to believe this. I thought it was a big bird at first. All of a sudden, flying from 21 feet up was somebody who isn't able to fly. And he splattered on the warning track.
He makes everything sound like, you know, it's just another day at the park that he's going to get excited about. It's like really stupid. It would be like,
I had a date last night with a really great looking girl. Man, not as good as Bill Belichick's wife, but right up there. And I was totally inept and I couldn't get it up. What a beautiful day for baseball.
You know, he has absolutely one gear, Dwayne Stat. I mean, it's
amazing. I've heard
a team that has no offense year after year. So he has to be up about everything, you know. Yep. All right, so we're done pissing on Dwayne Stat. I'm the only guy who does that, and
you got to do Dickie V now. You might as well do the whole triumvirate.
Oh God,
oh baby.
I'll do classic Dickie V, not
okay.
You know. All right,
not recent Dickie V, but
no. I'm trying to think what he would say. He would say something like, "I thought I had it bad, baby. That guy, he hit head first. He did a swan dive." Yeah, it's like we really need this.
Boom. Run through the whole.
No, Mike Breen. No, Mike Breen.
Bang.
I gotta get water. I've done too much voice. Oh my God.
I'm getting my exercise just laughing my ass off over here.
The other thing that killed my voice.
You're dying. Can't do Tommy Heinsohn now.
No. The other thing I wanted to mention is I don't know what to start with, but I'll go this route first. Colin Cowherd, in his typical way, selling out to the NFL owners, and he made a had a guest on and made comments about Shedeur Sanders and said a backup quarterback cannot be a distraction on a team, and that he is a distraction.
Wow.
And that during his interviews, there was one point where a team showed him a couple of plays that he made the wrong decision on. And they asked him about it. And we don't know what preceded that in that conversation, but his answer to the team, the people who were there, was, well, then perhaps I'm not your guy. I mean, let me ask you something. Is there a quarterback who's ever played the game who hasn't misread defenses, thrown pick sixes, fumbled the ball because of a blindside pass rush that they didn't pick up coming at them, that waited too long to throw the ball over the middle, or 20 other things that can happen to a quarterback? There's no one in the history of the game, from Otto Graham to Johnny Unitas to Joe Namath to, Joe Montana to, no. They've all made mistakes. So he takes this one isolated interview and basically says the backup quarterback of a team can't be a distraction. All right. Now, this is the kind of thing that makes me immediately think two things. One, the NFL is scrambling at this point because it was so blatant nobody was taking this guy.
Yeah, he's
when everybody
blackballed.
was hyping him throughout the process. Did I think that Shedeur Sanders would go number 2? No.
No,
I mean,
probably
if he went number 2 or not number 15, he was going to go first round because he's a quarterback and people will take chances. As for backup quarterbacks being a distraction, I never heard that cocksucker talking about Johnny Manziel. Did you?
No.
That's really funny. I mean, Johnny Manziel was the biggest distraction I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's going to wreck the league,
So, yeah, I mean, the whole thing was just being obnoxious. But that was okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think about putting a guest on who seconds the notion and using this kind of general language. You can't be a distraction. I'm sitting here thinking of all the backup quarterbacks who have played in the NFL who were distractions. I mean, you telling me that when Cam Newton couldn't start anymore, he wasn't a distraction?
Yeah.
All right. That would be one example.
I got one. Michael Vick.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, a dog killer. But the fact of the matter is I can name a lot of white quarterbacks too. I mean, when Baker made Ryan Leaf would be thank you, Rich. There would be a great example of an absolute distraction. But you know what this sounded like to me? This is what I call the uppity Negro argument.
Okay.
And he's not allowed to stand up for himself when somebody who obviously was not interested in drafting him, because it was, to pluck that one question out of one interview process when there were 32 teams and several rounds and nobody drafted him. This is the NFL scrambling to give all these ulterior reasons.
Correct.
Why Shedeur Sanders wasn't drafted higher. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Bronk. Yeah. Yeah, God almighty.
I did want to interrupt the rant by mentioning that. But
no, the ultimate distraction to his
portion,
teammates.
Yeah.
The man everyone hated. But but this is there again. It's like, yeah, man, I'll get my head together eventually. Thank you, Todd Marinovich. But it's my dad's fault because, yeah. And Todd Marinovich, that would be what he would say. Now, Shadur's not saying that about his father, although he could. I think Dion kind of shot his mouth off a little bit too much. And I think that's really what all of this is all about, is that Dion is the uppity Negro.
Yeah, well,
all right.
He is the one that most to, if you want to give blame to anybody, give it to him.
Well, but the fact of the matter is, though, it happens all the time that relatives of players get involved.
Oh, God. What about Tyrese Halliburton's dad?
Oh, crazy shit. Crazy shit.
I mean, be in prison. Jesus.
That guy's got to be on PCP if he's running up to Giannis. Waving a jersey saying,
Oh, that is just wrong.
Yeah, it's just cuckoo. So what I can tell you is this. Whenever I see the talking heads take this turn, they're trying to cover for the NFL.
Yeah, they're covering up. Yeah.
And none of it is really going to matter in the great scheme of things, because Shadur's either going to succeed or he's not going to succeed. What I can say is that and I saw something that was on social media that his father posted that said that, it sounded like something that Jameis Winston would say, getting the Lord back involved in this, which I fucking hate more than anything, because God doesn't care about football. God doesn't give a shit about any of that. The bigger fish to fry. But he goes, my faith in God, and I know that I have to do better. And it's like, oh God, if I hear that one more time, I am going to go postal and shoot somebody. It's like, what you did, it's just like the 21-year-old kid who fucked his dad on the Falcons with the whole Crank Cole thing.
Yeah.
Dion fucked his own son.
Yeah.
Fucked him over. I mean, he just could have kept his mouth shut and let the hype run high, and the young man would have gotten drafted somewhere in the first round. He would have been a hope for being a starting quarterback, and he would have made starting quarterback money.
Yeah.
Right? But instead, he fucked it up for his own kid.
Yeah, now he's got to wait 4 years if he's any good to get decent money.
Yeah, I just don't, for the life of me, understand it. Now, on to the next thing. I don't like to kick people when they're down. Oh, sometimes it's fun.
Hey!
So I'm watching the Knicks and the Pistons.
Oh, God.
And I'm, looking at two teams who are, one who can't flat out score because their offense is archaic. That would be JB. His team, the Pistons. And a team whose legs are worn out, who every fourth quarter just falls off the map because they're just older players who have been overplayed.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing that, and the funny part, it was the Knicks and JB Bickerstaff losing to the Knicks with the Cavaliers and all that. JB Bickerstaff singularly lost this game. And
he did.
And
100%.
Regardless of what, the players will take it upon themselves and all that. And the fact that they had a much better record than anyone thought they would because they were so horrible the year before. I'm not going to say that JB didn't do some things well, because he's the kind of guy who can get the rah-rah going. He'll get guys playing hard, play hard defense. Meanwhile, he never does anything in the off seasons
to get better.
Yeah, to improve his knowledge of offense, or to bring in people who have a knowledge of offense. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Cavaliers get Kenny Atkinson with the same exact fucking players that they had, with the exception of Ty Jerome, the year before, and they looked like a night and day team.
Correct.
But this guy's team looks the same. It looks like an old Cavaliers team.
It was like watching the Cavs from 3 years ago.
Yeah, that were over,
They were over like jumped up, and then JB getting technical fouls and yelling at the refs.
They outperformed themselves. But yeah, in a moment where they couldn't afford to give up 2 points, he's up there and gets a tech, right? I mean,
yeah, terrible. Running out in the court.
He's a schmuck.
Yeah.
But nothing compares. Nothing compares to the end of the game. Now, there's 20 seconds left on the clock.
Okay.
Right? And it's a tie game.
Yep.
And if you play hard defense, you have a chance to go into overtime. And overtime with the Knicks.
103.
No, 113.
113. Yeah, okay.
And what would wind up happening if you force the Knicks into overtime is that their legs would fall off.
They would die.
Like
they would
Luka.
literally collapse on the floor. Dead.
And 20 seconds left. He's got to set up defense. This is what he's supposed to be known for. How in God's name can you put a rookie one-on-one defensively with the number 1 rated clutch shooter, Jalen Brunson, in the entire NBA, and expose him one-on-one? Ozzer Thompson was the rookie. And not only was it a easy 3-point look, he
broke his ankles.
I mean, he looked like a staggering drunk. He had no business. Why wouldn't you double team the one guy and say, okay, let Hart beat us with a 3. Let somebody else beat us with the 3. Just not that guy. You know what it's like? It's like having first base open against the Guardians, and instead of walking Jose Ramirez, you pitch to him.
Yeah, you throw a 90-mile-an-hour meatball to him.
Yeah, I mean, who in the hell creates strategies like this? To me, one of the most unbelievable things I've ever watched. And I was looking at my TV like, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, I was stunned too.
Well, and the rookie just took the bite to the left because, Brunson's left-handed. Yeah, it was like his whole defensive concept was, I got to take away the left side from him. But that's so stupid because Brunson goes against the grain and shoots, mid-range fadeaways all the time. And the guy just like he was on ice. He just skidded off the court. And there it is, the end of the game. And the thing that angered me more than anything about this is afterwards, this is the headline in ESPN, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons know their future is bright even after defeat. It's like, no, it's not.
No, they'll never get past the second round.
There's nothing bright about JB Bickerstaff.
No, they're dead.
They overachieved. And Cade Cunningham is part of the gang who can't shoot straight. He's got
he had a terrible game yesterday. Absolutely shocking game.
But you look at the improvement in him, and he's physical. He can get to the rack, but he isn't the guy who is going to beat you with the buzzer with a 3 when you need it.
No.
His release on his shot doesn't look right. You can tell the good shooters because they shoot the ball the same way every time.
Yeah, I would have Malik Beasley take the last shot if I was the Pistons coach, but I don't know whether Tony would agree with that or not. But
he's more of a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Beasley shoot it.
But it's so easy to sit back and say, we felt good about this series, said Cunningham, who finished with 23 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. So to not pull it out hurts. But that feeling will stick with us throughout the summer, blah, 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 blah.
And we'll be so much more motivated, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
They will be back, and they will be better, he says. But eventually, the yelling, the screaming, the technical fouls, the lack of plays of getting the ball inbounds and being able to score on inbounds plays, the longer this goes on, the more their will be sapped.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
So-
I was watching the home feed, which was the Detroit feed, and I was George Blaha, and I forget the other announcer with him, but they really praised the one Detroit player for pulling Bickerstaff away from getting a double technical.
Yeah, really.
He was the guy. I mean, the announcers realized that Bickerstaff was going to blow up, and they highlighted the fact that his own teammate fucking pulled him away, so he didn't get in more trouble. So
yeah. I love this guy. This guy comes in here just trying to stir the pot. No, we don't.
no, we don't.
We
There's
don't,
not a
because
thing
there's
to talk
nothing
about.
happening.
Nothing worth talking about.
God, make that stop. But at any rate, that's the demise of the Pistons.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Now, I wanted to transition over to the Cavaliers because Sunday is their first game
Sunday.
against the Pacers, and you notice how the organization in Indiana made sure that Halliburton's father is not going to be at any home and road games anymore.
Well, it can't be. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean
Yep.
but that's a good way to kind of put a wet blanket on a fire, because you don't want any team to be all psyched up. It's like, did you see what they did to Giannis? They got no respect for anything. And Tyrese Halliburton, it was good about it. He said his father was wrong. He said that, he talked to Giannis about it. It was really a disrespectful thing to do. And, honestly, the Milwaukee Bucks are way past anything. They had a one championship season, and that's it.
Yeah, now they got Haslam's too. I mean, they're dead.
I mean, they're not. Hope against hope. Could they pull off the series against the Pacers? Because I wanted to play those Bucks because they're old, they're slow, they don't shoot that well, and their leading hot guy, who's probably gone for all of next year too, with the ruptured Achilles.
Lillard.
Damian Lillard. I'd love to play those guys, but we knew that the Pacers would end up winning. The Pacers.
Now all the talk is Giannis is going to get traded.
They're going to get the Lakers will get him. Lakers will get him.
The Lakers, because you got to fucking get LeBron more help in his.
Yep. But I look at the Pacers, and they were 3-1 against the Cavs this year, but one of them was the last game of the season when they were both playing, G League, rosters. But what I can say is, we just got done playing a slow-moving team in the Miami Heat who liked to get you in the half court and beat you defensively. What we have with the Pacers is, 360. What they are wanting to do is steal the basketball and get into transition. They want to pressure the ball and speed up the game. And they are the exact opposite of a team that has like a Tyler Hero who will score 27 points a game or whatever. And maybe another guy, a little further down. The Pacers have a bunch of guys. They got Siakam averaging 19.8 points a game. They got Halliburton at 17.6. Miles Turner, their center, at 16.8. Nembhard, their point guard, at 15 points a game.
He's good. I like him.
Neesmith, who's 14.8 points per game. Matherin off the bench, 10.3. And TJ McConnell, 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys who average double digits.
And I think Obi Toppin is like right there.
Yeah, Toppin,
8.2 points per game. Now, here's the thing that will tell you what makes this a dangerous game. 3-point shooting, Siakam, 44.4%.
Yeah.
Miles Turner, 37.5. Nembhard, 50%. Neesmith, 51.9. So what you're looking at is a team. Then you have Matherin, who everyone thought was going to be much more of a player, who's only shooting 13% from three. So this is a team that loves transition, is fast and furious, and they will pop threes, and they can score in bunches. That is what you have there. Halliburton, who is an important player, is only a 26.8% three-point shooter and only a 42% field goal percentage guy. Extremely athletic and can break you down off the dribble for sure. What they're hoping is that Miles Turner, by knocking down threes, can bring Evan Mobley or Jared Allen away from the basket. That will allow Halliburton and Nembhard and Neesmith to be able to go to the hole without having to alter their shots. So this is what the Cavaliers face, kind of a absolute opposite of what the Heat were.
Well, the Pacers do a lot of back cutting too.
Everything's fast.
Back cutting.
It's speed, it's possessions. They're not going to dribble the ball down like Jalen Brunson does and the Knicks do. They're going to get more shots off during the course of the game, and they're going to move the ball, and they're going to knock down threes. If you're the Cavaliers, what are the advantages that you have over the Indiana Pacers? The one thing is in height.
Length, yeah, absolutely.
And what you're looking at is a situation where you've got Jared Allen, you've got Evan Mobley, you've got DeAndre Hunter, who plays in a certain larger way, and their defensive players, Nembhard, Neesmith, I'm not worried about Miles Turner as a defensive player or Siakam particularly. They're offensive weapons. If you're the Cavaliers, what you're trying to force them into is to shoot contested twos, or contested threes. You're going to be willing, if you have one of your guys freelancing in the paint, and if it's Evan Mobley, to throw off the trajectory of shots if they decide to have Halliburton go to the basket. But you cannot get sucked into the paint, because they'll bounce that ball out, and they got a lot of guys who can hit that shot. And for the Cavaliers, the Cavaliers are going to have to score some points against the Heat. The second that they would reach 110 points, by and large, it was over because the Heat can't score that many points.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's going to be the big difference in these games. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because this is like you're playing a racehorse team here, and who will impose their will? That's the question.
Well, if we don't turn the ball over, if we don't give in to this pressure and lose the ball, that's how they get fast break points, is by stealing the ball and getting pressure. But the Cavs the other day, Jared Allen had 6 steals. So, I mean, everybody can play defense on the Cavs. I'm not sure everybody can play defense on the Pacers.
You got to keep the man in front of you. You can't allow blow-bys, because what they want to do is they want to run a guy like Miles Turner or a guy like Siakam. They want those guys inverted so that they'll be outside waiting behind the arc while Nemhart and Halliburton,
and McConnell too drives in.
yes, and will get open looks from three, and it's going to be a challenge. I think that this presents a completely different challenge for the Cavaliers, and what I saw from the Cavaliers against the Heat that I liked the most was that they came out in those last two games and played such a hard defense. They were stuck to their men and they were not giving up anything.
And they broke their will.
Yeah,
They
and
fucking
everything contested. And that's the way it has to be, but they're playing faster players. As far as bench goes, we can take a look at the stats. Minutes wise, 34 minutes a game for Siakam, 35 for Halliburton, 32 for Turner, 32 for Nemhart, 30 for Neesmith, 18 for Matherin. TJ McConnell plays about 18. OJ Toppin, what's the name? Obi Toppin. OJ
Obi-Wan.
Simpson, Obi Toppin, about 15 and a half
Knife
minutes.
down, Obi.
Then guys named Walker and Shepard, who I'm not really aware of, but they really play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, if 8 guys is really pretty much what you're getting here. So they have depth, but the question is, what do you have if you're resting Siakam or you're resting Miles Turner? You've got a guy named Bryant, who there's a star next to his name.
Probably dead, I think.
That was part
Thomas
of a trade. That was part of a trade with Miami, it seems to me. But he's a backup center. They don't really have a backup center. So that's why they're running this fast offense, because
Toppin's their next biggest guy. I mean, I think he's the guy who's plays the 5 when as the reserve.
Hello, Big Lurker. How you doing?
Oh, Big Lurker. We lost Tony. Tony, come back.
No, Rick May. No, that would be Sammy Davis Jr.
Where's Tony?
I don't know. Tony sometimes got internet connectivity.
Yeah, it could be the phone thing, like when I blow off on my phone too. So anyway.
And I don't worry about the 3-1 record during the regular season, but I do recognize
nothing
that their tempo was a distraction in the games that they played against the Cavaliers. They really got up and down the floor and they created problems. And pressuring the ball and turnovers is something that worked in the middle of the year against the Cavaliers. So we'll see if we've cleaned our act up in that.
Well, we had that one period where we lost like 4 out of 7 games or 4 out of 6, like in, I don't know, January, February. And we've been a much better team since DeAndre Hunter was brought to us.
Yeah.
So,
I just, a lot of, fans are saying that the Pacers or the Cavaliers light, that they're an explosive team, but they're just not as good at many positions on the floor. Again, the first 2 games at home tell the tale.
correct.
And you got to get off to a 2-0 start, because once the pressure comes in and you're playing on a team's home floor, it becomes difficult. It gets very loud in Indiana. And I think that's because there's nothing else to do there. And that's, and I think they're a good team. I don't think they're as good a team as the Cavaliers are, but that's the beauty of this. You get to prove yourself the more rounds you go, the more you have to prove yourself. So the Cavaliers have an
Yeah,
opportunity to
I'd
do
say
that.
the Pacers are better than the Knicks. But
Well, the
that's
Knicks
me.
right now are a shot. They're
Yeah.
just totally shot.
But they can win one or two against the Celtics only because the Celtics have that really bad, horrendous quarter or half in them where they absolutely hit 15% of their shots, and that's it. So I think the Knicks can maybe take it to 6 games, but they're never going to get through the Celtics.
Oh, they're exhausted.
Yeah,
Double P is. Did I miss Guardians talk? Well, let's talk a little bit about the Guardians. I mean,
how are they doing? Because I've ignored them.
They took 3 of 4 against Minnesota. The first one was an 11-1 loss in which they were never in the game, and then they eked out 4-2, 4-3 wins.
Wow.
But big home runs that led the way, and it's nice seeing that Bo Naylor hit a couple of long balls. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of surprising. He's up to 4 this season, and Manzardo hit a big game winner. It's the problem with the Guardians right now is that when Tristan McKenzie got DFA'd because he's just not able to perform anymore, and you got Ben Lively, who can go out and periodically throw a good game. He's a guy who, if you're fortunate, you get 5 innings out of, and he keeps you in the game. He is a little prone to giving up the long ball, but he does keep hitters off balance, and he's a gutsy kind of veteran pitcher. But we're having some problems with Gavin Williams, who isn't really commanding the strike zone the way he's supposed to. We're still seeing a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that's almost consistently above the strike zone, but we're not seeing the fall off the table breaking ball that he exhibited last year. We got to really get him throwing better in order to get the pitching to where it needs to be. And, Ron, the fact is Santana's 39 years old, and I don't know what is left in that tank. And Nolan Jones, I think he plays a lousy right field, to be honest with you. He's not a good defender.
Oh, we've had so many of those over the years.
But he's another guy who, when he hits the ball, it comes off the bat hard. And they're measuring it's all this numerics, and it comes off his bat at an average of 104 miles an hour, but he's not even hitting 200. All right. And he's not elevating enough balls to go out of the park. It's like Russell Branyan.
Wow.
And Big Christmas, boy, he got a hold of a 450-foot home run the other day that was just terrifying. But you're right. He waves at the breaking ball. He gets decided and set on what's coming. And I thought that Rick Manning made a really good point about Big Christmas, is that if you watch him get into the batter's box, he's got his hands up, and then he puts his hands down, that the down and around, he's losing time and quickness, and he's guessing more than he should be.
Yeah,
and
you'll never hit a high pitch if the pitch is above your hands. That's the first thing you're taught when you're taught how to bat.
I mean, when he hits them, and they go. And same thing with Manzardo. Manzardo, he can knock the ball out of the park. The other thing I wanted to say was all the talk about, Andre Jimenez. He's 0 for his last 16. He's batting below 200 for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, Arias is actually hitting around 270 this year, but something weird going on with him. He doesn't slide. I don't know if anybody notices this. He won't get his uniform dirty, and there are feelings that he is dealing with a leg injury.
Yeah, well, that's why you would not slide, is because you got lower extremity injuries. Yeah.
So, that's another thing. And he's showing some power, but and a little bit more discipline in his swing over the short term. Like I said at the beginning of the year, this whole Schneemann thing's got to go away. Yeah, and I was, before the season even began, pimping Angel Martinez because he came up hot last year, cooled off as the league
As you
found out
do.
more about him. That's typical of young players, but he has been giving this team such a lift, and he hit the game-winning single to drive in Ramirez in yesterday's game. So I think that he's doing, and he's hitting over 300 this year. So he's doing what he's supposed to do. And I think Angel Martinez will have kind of the ability to hit 12, 13 home runs in a season, but he's only 22 years old, and
Wow.
he's going to get stronger. We've seen this happen before, and he's not a second baseman only. You saw him play center field and gun a runner down. So he's got an arm. He can play the outfield, and I'm wondering how long the Nolan Jones experiment is going to last, because we've just had this bad run of corner outfielders. Now, Kwan's fine in left field, but, and the other thing that we're not hearing about was what's his name? The guy we got from Washington last year, who's our starting center fielder. Out of sight, out of mind. But he's still hurt, and we're moving players around in and out of center field. And I'm curious as to who's going to nail down these positions. Right field, I think, is ripe for the taking, and I know that I'm keeping an eye on Bazana in the minor leagues, and he's still hitting in the 230s, but this time, instead of being in single A, he's in double A in Akron. Lane Thomas, thanks for it.
Lane Thomas,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I was gonna say David Fry as well, but anyway.
But, Lane Thomas is not somebody who is going to, I don't see him as a great center fielder defensively. No. So, he'll hit 15, 16 home runs a year. That's been consistent for him that way. Had a few good at bats in the postseason last year, to be sure, but there's a lot of developmental going on with the Guardians, and then there's the bullpen where Clase just isn't what he was, and he's giving up runs. And
he's still throwing batting practice, like 99 miles an hour, but it's straight as an arrow.
Straight as an arrow. A lot of people who are just barreling those pitches up. Yeah, it's a problem. And the interesting thing is Gaddis gave up a run the other day, which didn't happen very often last year, but he's got nasty stuff. He gave up a long ball. He put one in the wrong place. The guy deposited it. But, other than that, Herron's done a good job as the lefty out of the pen. And we still have some really good relief pitchers, but we're shy on starters, and we're not getting any more than 4 or 5 innings. And Logan Allen is not the answer. And I keep saying this every year. He gets into the 4th inning, and by the time, if he gets out of the 4th inning unscathed, he's already thrown 90 pitches. They're praying that he's going to get a 5th inning, but he dies in the 5th inning. He's just not able to get out of the 5th inning. So I don't know. But for what they are at 18 and 13 right now, they're doing pretty damn well.
Well, I do better when I don't watch, so I'll keep not watching.
No, I mean, they are what they are, and they had a great run of it last year. But and I saw that that Josh Naylor, is still hitting like a 312, but he hasn't hit another home run. So when he started out the season with 4 home runs, he still got 4 home runs.
4 home runs. Wow.
He's more of a line drive. I would say a doubles hitter. If he weren't so fucking fat, he might have some triples. He's a gap hitter, and he can hit the ball deep. But the thing is, by hitting 30 home runs last year, the expectation changes, his swing changes, and he's a square up kind of line drive guy who I think when he's at his best is maybe hitting 20 home runs and keeping his average higher. And that's what's happening this year. His average is higher, but he's not driving in the runs. Manzardo has driven in more runs than Josh Naylor has.
Wow.
So
I mean, I would say that he was more like a Carlos Baerga type of hitter who didn't hit a lot of home runs, but he sure got a lot of doubles and stuff like that. That's more
guys who are gap hitters can't be obese.
No, but that's what happened to Baerga, Asdrubal Cabrera, Josh Naylor. They're all the same kind of guy, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to find power hitting infielders. We have one in Ramirez, but I don't consider him to be
a power. He's not. Yeah, he's not a power. He's not like Frank Howard, you know.
No, he's
Carmen Killebrew. That's what I think of power hitters. Willie Horton, you know.
Yeah, well, he is a hustle guy. He's a guy who stretch a single into a double. He can hit the ball out of the park. He's got more power from the left side than he does the right side as a switch hitter, you know, but he's a winning player. That's one thing we can say about him. He's got a great attitude. So I really have nothing against what the Guardians are doing, given the product that they have. Stephen Vogt's doing the best that he can do. The problem is this is all based. This organization is based on starting pitching, and they thought that Tristan McKenzie was going to bounce back. And when you lose 20% of your starting pitchers, that hurts. And the guys who are at AAA aren't ready to come up, and Gavin Williams is underperforming. This is not what was expected. I know that they expected Gavin Williams to return to the previous season's form, and that's not happening. And players are just laying off of the high fastballs, and they're not chasing. And when he's down in the zone, the ball's predictably straight. He's got to have his secondary pitches working for him. And right now he's not commanding them. It's going to be tough. But 18-13 is a whole lot better than what the Cleveland Browns are going to look like. So you got that. All right.
That is very true.
I'm done.
There's only one basketball game tonight. It don't start till about 9:00 your time. So
that
Rockets and the Warriors in Golden State. So
there you go.
And that's who the Timberwolves will play in the next round. One of those two teams. So
yeah, and
go Wolves.
Well, it's good to see different teams in, and I want to see how the Thunder does in round 2. I want to see how the Cavs do in round 2. I mean, this is all part of a process, and if you can't get by the Pacers, you don't earn the right to play the Celtics. That's the way it works.
I think if the Clippers get through to play Oklahoma with having Harden and Kawhi Leonard, savvy players going against such a young team, that might be a decent series.
Yeah, you know? But I mean, a lot of it's going to be if they allow the older players to flop around the floor and call fouls on the Thunder. I mean,
Brunson was hilarious, man. How many times did he fall over and not get hit yesterday? And call it.
Yeah, it's becoming tiresome, seeing that. At any rate, time to get out of here. Moose, thank you for joining me, Ron.
And thanks to Tony the Calf. Go Wolves.
Thanks to Tony the Calf, too, who's happy up in Minnesota. And everybody, have yourselves a good weekend. And we'll be watching on Sunday and hoping that the Cavs get off to the desired start. So
gotta make it happen.
We'll be back again on Monday. Until then, Hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.